Liberia is home to one of Africa's most vibrant surfing communities.
The ocean is where we always want to be. We feel relaxed being in the ocean, like our home, you know.
Their stories are being documented in a film aimed at reframing the country's narrative.
Documentaries are really powerful. Specifically for Liberia, it's great to kind of share the culture and repackage and remarket a place because they kind of deserve it, you know. I think documentary is a great vehicle for that.
I think there are a lot of Black filmmakers who are really trying their best to showcase Africans in the diaspora in a positive light as well as in an authentic light, and that's something that we need.
This is the story of surfing Liberia. This is Inside Africa.
To me, storytelling is one of the most powerful things anyone can do. To tell a story is to allow people to feel not alone, to allow people to be seen, to allow people to be heard. But for me, the power of storytelling comes in with empowerment.
Filmmaker Artina Michelle was born in Staten Island, New York, during Liberia's Civil War. Like many people of their generation, her parents left Liberia as refugees and raised her in the United States, where she pursued a career in film.
It's very unconventional that I became a filmmaker because no one else in my family is. But when I went to college, I ended up taking a film analysis course, and I realized that cinematography was like the rhetoric of film. I didn't know that there was a visual language prior to that. I started feeling a passion really igniting in me, and that led me to the industry. Yeah.
For the past 8 years, she has worked as a cinematographer on films like the blockbuster Creed 2 and independent short doc Dear Philadelphia. It was on a trip to Liberia in 2018 to visit her family and to connect with her heritage, where she truly discovered her purpose as a filmmaker.
Right now we're going to my cousin Ajula's house to go eat with the family. We're gonna go grub, eat some palm butter, and maybe some dry rice, yeah. My family is love, you know. Always joyful because I don't get to see them as often as, you know, my family members in the States. So I just feel warm here, I feel welcomed, and I feel excited to see everybody. For me, usually when I see films about Liberia, they're usually made by Europeans. To make a film is a very big privilege, to be honest. For us who our lives led us out of the country and back to the country, I think that's something that we can unify with, that we can lift one another up with. And I truly just really want those who are not often heard from to be heard, basically, yeah.
Have you ever heard about surfing?
What about surfing? Surfing? Surfing on the highway.
Oh, surfing? Want to take picture? Be telling you, not a big sunny.
Now Artina has taken on the biggest challenge of her career, directing her first feature documentary on a subject she never imagined she would be interested in.
A cousin of mine told me about the surf scene happening here, and I realized that I never heard about that before. Growing up, even going to the beach after prom, my parents were like, don't go in the water. Being around the ocean wasn't really a part of our culture, and I started connecting with surfers over here. And once I started connecting with surfers and actually visiting Liberia as an adult, I was like, wow, there are a lot of stories that aren't told, where I can authentically show people, show the culture from how we know it. That to me got me really excited to make a feature documentary. Before then, I had no real aspirations to direct. I think my directorial debut came from a need that I saw in the community.
The documentary introduces viewers to Liberia's growing surf community and Liberians' broader relationship with the ocean.
This Too Is Liberia is the title of the feature documentary that I'm creating. It follows Melvin Escabokoli Jr. He's a certified surf instructor, and he's teaching kids about surf therapy and how to cope, as well as teaching them about water safety. Following the story of Liberia through the eyes of Melvin, and Melvin is kind of opening us up to a new perspective about the country.
Yo, bro, you ready? Let's go surfing.
I always feel like I'm home when I'm surfing. It brings a lot of passion to me.
It changed your life. It changed your mind. When you start surfing, you meet a lot of people. I'm a intermediate surfer.
Yeah, Chris is a beginner surfer.
I never knew Liberian kids would have interest in surfing.
One of my biggest goals for the film was to make sure that everyone in the country sees the film. Because I want the film to empower Liberians first, I do want it to be something where, you know, the world is introduced to Liberia, but I also want it to be home. Home is the priority for this.
4 years since the project began, This Too Is Liberia is in the final stages of filming before heading into post-production.
The phrase "This Too Is Liberia" comes from a phrase here that people use when something goes wrong. Let's say, for instance, you call someone, they don't show up, and it's their job to, they'll be like, "This too is Liberia," or if something breaks, it's like, "This too is Liberia." So it has a very negative connotation here. And I wanted to show the positive things and say this too is what the country is. As the journey of the film has been happening, it's kind of both that we're documenting. We're documenting some of the hardships that happen here, as well as the positive things that a lot of the world has never seen before.
Joining Artina on set is her long-term friend and colleague, Marcus Clark, who is the film's co-director.
Where we are now is we're at Robertsport, which is a beautiful location where a lot of surfers that we are filming surf. So the aesthetic to this film is really just trying to show and stay authentic to Liberia as a whole, the whole vibe of it, the people, the scenery. So we don't really want to impose any perspective. We just want to kind of be verite and be a fly on the wall and observe.
Marcus's first time going to Liberia.
So excited.
How you feeling?
So excited.
Hailing from Philadelphia, USA, visiting Liberia has also been a deeply personal experience for him.
My first time in Africa, it's been a trip. You being like a Black American, you're kind of in a bubble.
We made it.
I guess you don't really have roots, or if you do have roots, you don't really know much of them in Africa. And I've been an American my whole life, so it's really nice to kind of be in touch with my African side. And it's just been kind of overwhelming and also humbling, because it just makes me want to kind of explore my own lineage and my own ancestry. This production's been just more personal in the sense of other productions I can really have a distance from them, but this is more like a definite how I identify myself as a Black American. It's just been fun to kind of explore that side of myself.
A gem throughout this whole process is the connection that I've been able to create with the surfing community here, the surfers. They've been so welcoming, a lot of them, and just very open to sharing their stories, to letting us into their lives. And through that, we've been able to basically become like family. So they inspire me in a lot of ways. And they're teaching me more too about the Liberian way, which is a communal way of living.
And she says these surfers are slowly getting her more comfortable in the water and hope to one day get her out in the ocean on a surfboard.
I'm going to get a surf lesson from Philip Banini, who is also featured in This Too Is Liberia. And I get to follow his life a little bit, but today he's going to show me the ropes.
Philip Banini is a veteran of the Liberian surf scene.
So I think it was after the war in 2003, some Americans came to Robertsport, Liberia, where they started surfing our waves here. And they came across a Black guy Alfred Lomax, who is the first Liberian surfer, and they taught him the sport, and that was how he too started sharing it with the locals around here. So I started surfing like around 2010 when I got into surfing, and it was the same Alfred Lomax who encouraged me and put me into it. I would say Robertsport is coming to that level where people wants to come from other places in the world to like enjoy the waves, because I've experienced that a lot. I'm in Robertsport, but people sometimes email me, WhatsApp me from other countries. Oh, Philip, we want to come to Robertsport, we want to come to the guest house, and we want to surf the waves that's in Robertsport. So I think it's getting to that level.
Making this doc has honestly not inspired me to surf, but to definitely learn how to be a better swimmer, because I literally could only doggy paddle before I got here. So Melvin was teaching me about surfing, my cousins here were teaching me about swimming, and I've been open to getting into the water more for sure. But hopefully by the end of production, I will be an Olympic swimmer.
Would describe Robertsport as a paradise, place where you can come and enjoy your stay, a quiet area where the beaches are clean, we got a nice wave, the people in the community are welcoming. There is a surf spirit among us.
And it's here, among the palm trees and sea spray, that filmmaker Artina Michelle has connected with a new way of living.
For me, the greatest lesson that I've learned being here, documenting here, is to not rush, to allow life to just be life. Stories to just be stories, to not try to place my own understanding on things, but to be humble to what is and to accept it. In a sense, before coming here, before connecting with Liberia, there was a disconnect in how to live, basically. Like, the American way, the Western way is to rush. It's to get things done, is to be productive, and productive by way of like industry and all of these different things that are bigger, corporations and all of that. But for here, it just slows me down. And I think that has allowed me to connect with myself in a grander way. It's allowed me to connect with my family in a better way, to just sit and just be and just talk. To me, that's the beauty of being here, and that's like the greatest life lesson that I've learned so far.
Surfing has some dedicated followers in Liberia.
The thing I love more about surfing is that it's something that makes me happy, I feel like I'm home whenever I'm in the water, I'm with friends, we're sharing fun. Yeah, I think that's why I love surfing.
A fishing village, today Robertsport, is arguably the West African country's most popular surf destination. Or that's at least what local guesthouse owner Philip Banini will tell you.
Basically, we have 6 different breaks, but for me, the number 1 break here in Robertsport is Elsa Gardens, where the waves are always amazing.
As well as being an experienced surfer, Philip is a community leader. He's also a board member of Robertsport's recently established First Surf Club.
This is something we started since surfing started, because we've been dreaming about it. We've been hoping that our day will come where we will own something for ourselves. Now, as I speak to you, we have our new surf club on hand, where surfers will be empowered. People will be able to get $5 or $10, take care of their families and their children to school. The role I play in the surfing community is I look like a person almost everybody look up to in the surf club. I represent them. The surfing community in Robertsport is massive. We also got some female surfers, which is a massive achievement to the surfing community in Robertsport.
As one of the only female surfers, Irene Butterfly George hopes to play a role in growing the representation of women in the sport, and plans to one day open her own surf school, where she plans to teach more Liberian women to learn to swim and surf.
This is my favorite tattoos these days. My surfboard
and wave. Got a voice that encouraged me. Yes, it never give up on surfing. Like I said I will never give up in surfing when I got here.
Often the only woman in the water, her skills have earned her the nickname Butterfly, because she moves through the waves like she's flying.
Most thing I love about surfing because it keeps you out of trouble, number one, and it makes you focus. It makes you know how to talk to people. And the main reason I love surfing because I think it'll be my passion. When I got my first wave, since I started surfing, my first wave I ever got, I was like so comfortable because like I feel like I own a car drive, taking a very nice and smooth ride. Even when I get old, I will still surf. Yes, that's my dream.
Being one of a handful of women in her field is something Artina can relate to.
I would say to be a Black female director of photography is very rare. I haven't come across many. I have a few peers that are in it, but a lot of times, even being a Black woman in film in general is not something where we have a large population of people doing it. So to be one of the women, especially a Black woman in the film industry today, knowing how, at least in American cinema, Africans and African Americans are usually shown. There are a lot of stereotypes. There are a lot of things that me personally I can't relate to, but I believe that there's a new wave happening, and I'm happy to be a part of that.
So currently we are at the house where I was born and raised. My parents lived here since they came from Ghana. They relocated to Liberia. Growing up in Robertsport for me was something encouraging to me because looking at the community where I'm from, as a child growing up, I was going to fishing at the same time going to school. So that's something that I built in my mind that one day I want Robertsport to be somebody.
Tourism plays a crucial role in the development of the surf community. From the economy to visiting surfers sharing their skills with the local crowd, to providing surf wax and even boards.
Not get a surfboard here in Liberia. Yeah, all the surfboards out there, we don't buy them. We get them from people who come here and like the sport and they want us to do it. So they don't know when they're going back, they give us their boards.
Despite having to share boards and sometimes having to surf on broken boards, the surf scene here is cooking. Every day surfers dot the backline, determined to conquer the waves.
So I would describe the spirit of the surfing community here in Robertsport as something that we all want to do. It's like whenever there are waves, even when there are no waves, but one way or the other people want to be in the ocean, because once we see our friends out there in the ocean, I mean, we can get jealous. Like, I want to be out there. I hope I can be there. But sometimes you want to be there, but you don't have the equipment to be there. So the surfing spirit in Robertsport is very, very much encouraging.
Now if you go on the beach, you see the kids doing amazing stuff. So yeah, there are a lot of talents here.
I really like surfing because when I come surfing, I feel like I want the best man on planet Earth. Feel really happy. Yeah, if you're in the water, you don't think on nothing, you don't think on food, you don't think on money. The only thing you think on is the wave.
One of 8 siblings, Masalei's brother taught him to surf 3 years ago.
Well, like the first time I come on the beach, and then like my brother bring me on the beach, he say, come and see me surfing, and then when I come, I watch him surfing, I feel really happy, and then so I say, oh, I want to learn how to surf, and then he taught me how to surf.
Today he's recognized as one of the best surfers here and one of the only ones who has mastered a 360, a trick he said he learned from a French tourist.
I surf better than almost everybody now, yeah. Like my surfing, like I want to be really cool. Maybe one day I can be maybe one of the best surfer in the world, yeah.
At 17, Masalei splits his time between school, his job at Philip's Guest House, selling bracelets to tourists, and the ocean.
My favorite food is, I really like to cook, it's potato grain, yeah, and then potato grain with plenty with rice. I really like that, it's really nice. Firstly, you wash the pot, put oil in it. If you put oil, the oil is hot, then you put the grain in it. Then you can put onion, feta, and then you put the pepper after, and then you let it down, and then maybe you can put fish inside or plenty. I really like cooking. If I cook, I feel happy, man. Yeah, it's cool to cook. For men to cook, it's look nice. It's great.
Everything he earns he puts towards his education and helping his family.
The money I own, like I usually I take it to my mom because my family who don't have really support. Yeah, so only my one is here now. My dad is not here, so only my mom. So I take it to her to help her. Sometimes she can buy fish. Yeah, if she get more profit, yeah, she add it all and then send me to school.
His plan when he finishes school is, like Philip, to open a guest house of his own so he can continue to share Robertsport surf culture with the world.
Robertsport is a really nice place. Like the surfer in Robertsport is really nice. Everybody together, like everybody know each other. Like we feel happy if we're together. We're in the water, we chill everybody.
For the past 4 years, filmmaker Artina Michelle has been documenting Liberia's surf story. During the process, she's learned a lot about the country and herself.
The biggest lesson so far that I've learned about Liberia is that Liberia is abundant. The country is rich, the people are rich, the land is rich. But through just circumstances that are beyond a lot of the population's control, it's just really hard to access that potential. And I think that being here has allowed me to just connect with that more. And that truly is the story that isn't told. It just made me proud, to be honest. It made me proud to be Liberian.
As for the surfers, they hope that this is just the start of the story.
My dream for surfing is that surfing will continue to grow. This sport called surfing will attract more people to the country. And I think it's about time that the country itself sees the importance in focusing on the surfers in Robertsport. I want them to know that there's a sport called surfing in Liberia and there are a lot of Liberians involved into it.